What is going on, everyone? MP Tech here. There are a lot of different cloud service systems out there, but the one I want to talk about the most today is going to be iCloud. Now, in order for you to use iCloud in terms of your iPhone, you need to be running iOS 5 and above. I know iOS 5 is pretty outdated, but some people may still be running iOS 5. But as long as you have 5, you're pretty much good to go. Now, for the Mac operating systems, you need to have Mac 10.7.5 and above. For the Windows computers, you need to have Windows 7 or Windows 8. Those are the big requirements if you're wanting to use iCloud, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, if you guys haven't already, I did make a video on how to back up to iCloud. I will have the video and the link below and an annotation on the screen, so whoever wants to take a look at it, you can. This is going to be more or less a quick overview of what is iCloud and what features you get with iCloud. So, in order for you to go into iCloud in terms of your iPhone, you're going to want to go into Settings. And once you're in settings, scroll down a little bit until you see the option that says iCloud right here. So go ahead and select that. Now, I'm aware I explained this a while ago, but essentially, once you go into iCloud, this is going to be your central hub of everything you have for syncing and backing up in terms of your account information as well. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about today is going to be your Apple ID information. Alright, so the first thing you want to do and the first thing we're going to look at is going to be your Apple ID information. So at the very top, you should see your email address with your name on it. Go ahead and select that. Once you've selected it, you have essentially what is going to be all the information you have. Your contact information is going to be your name and your address as well. You've got your password and security questions in case you need to reset them or change something else. Devices, all the devices you have connected to iCloud. Payment is going to be essentially what you would want to put in there in case you're trying to do like an iCloud renewal payment system. All right, then the next option we have is what's called setup family sharing, or more or less family sharing. So what family sharing is it allows you to connect up to 10 devices. It does require iOS 8 or later. And for the Mac computers, you need to have running Yosemite or above. Now, what essentially it does is once you set up family sharing, it's going to let you share your purchase, your music, your TV shows, your books, your applications. You can more or less kind of share everything with your family. I would definitely recommend to take a look at it and see what you think about it. Now, essentially what the goal is for family sharing is to remove that hassle of one person email address being shared between multiple devices. Because what happens is that if you're using iCloud, and you're using it primarily to be able to do, like, for example, your syncing information, what happens is that if you have it being shared between other people's devices, let's say, for example, you have an iCloud account and you're sharing it with your mom. If you give your mom your email address, there is a chance she may accidentally sync some of her contacts, and whatever contacts she has, you may end up accidentally getting those as well. So family sharing more or less makes it so everyone has their own personal information and no one is sharing each other's contacts or other information. Alright, now the third option we have here on our list is the storage. So with storage, you have several things you can use it for. The first option you have in terms of the storage is, of course, you can use it for your iCloud backups, or what you could also do as well is for your iCloud photo library. I will get into this a little bit more down the video. Alright, and the next thing we're going to look at is going to be Icloud Drive. So Icloud Drive stores any document you have onto iCloud. You can access them wherever you want. Now, with those documents being saved on iCloud, you do have the option to do show on home screen. What this lets you do is it lets you actually have the application that is being saved in, and you can access all the documents you have stored on iCloud. You can save them, or maybe put them in different folders if you decide to. Alright, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is going to be photos. I mentioned a little bit earlier about iCloud Photo Library. Here's what you do to access it. So once you open up Photos, you have the option to turn on iCloud Photo Library. So what this does is that it gives you the option to upload all the photos you have on your iPhone onto iCloud Photo Library. As long as you have enough storage, you should have the ability to upload all the pictures you have on there. So that is where storage comes into place. If you have, for example, 10,000 photos, you only have 5 gigs of storage, you may run into some hiccups along the way. Alright, so just as a quick recap before I go on to the next features, iCloud, it's more or less the purpose of making things more wireless. So that way you don't have to carry your computer with you, your iPad and your iPhone with you. You don't have to worry about carrying any more hard drives. It makes it so everything is either synced or it's backed up somewhere on a cloud computing system. Now, I did mention essentially what the first option is, which is of course your contact information. The second one is family sharing. Now for family sharing, you are able to share your application's purchase history, but at the same time, not all applications may be available for everyone else. Now, the goal of family sharing is to make it so that everyone has their own separate iCloud and their own separate email addresses. No one is having to worry about sharing each other's information. Now, I also mentioned briefly what storage is. Now, for iCloud Drive and for photo library to work, you do need to have sufficient storage. Now, if you only have 5 gigs of storage, you may not be able to hold all your photos and some of your documents as well. So as long as you have enough storage, you will have access to take advantage of iCloud Drive and iCloud Photos as well. Alright, so the first couple options were more or less features you get when you have an iCloud account. So everything else up to here, from mail all the way up to wallet, those are your syncing. So what that means is, let's say for example you have photos turned on. When you have that option turned on, I have mostly everything in green. So what this lets me do, I can give you guys a really good example as well. I recently ended up getting a new iPhone, and I wasn't too concerned about restoring from my backups or anything like that. In fact, I wanted to set the phone up as new, but I didn't want to lose my contacts or my notes as well. So what this does is whenever you go into that email address where you have everything turned on, when you use that email address to sign into a different product, all that information gets synced over to the new device as well. So that way you're not losing contacts, you're not losing notes or calendars or reminders as well. So this more or less makes it to that in the event you ever lose your phone or your phone gets wiped out for whatever reason, you're not losing any contacts. Even though you may not have done a backup, your information is still saved on the cloud computing system. Alright, so of course we have backup, which if you guys want more description information on it, you can check out the other video as well. Icloud Keychain makes it so where in the event that you have a lot of passwords saved on Safari, whenever you type in an email address and password, it's going to prompt you to save that information to Icloud Keychain. You can select yes, and what this does is that information, if you have the same Apple ID signed into an iPad, for example, the passwords you typed into Safari on your iPhone are also plugged into your iPad as well without you having to do anything else. And of course, if you wanted to take a look at the passwords you have saved on Safari, you would go down to the option for Safari. Once you select Safari, just go into passwords, and of course mine has the Touch ID, so I'm not going to type it in because there's a lot of passwords in there, but you guys get the gist of it. Alright, so the other option we have is Find My iPhone, the infamous Find My iPhone. So what this does, it's a double-edged sword, and I'll explain why. Now, the reason why I describe it as a double-edged sword is because Find My iPhone makes it so where in case you lose your phone, you can go onto a website that is iCloud.com, and you can track the location of where your iPhone is at. So that way in the event you're not sure if you left it at work or you left it in your car, you can log into the website and it gives you a general idea of where that phone's located at. The other biggest key role of Find My iPhone is that in the event your phone number gets lost or stolen, it is a useless brick, because when someone goes to erase the iPhone, during the setup screen on the iPhone is going to ask you for the email address and password for the Find My iPhone. So if the thief doesn't know it, it's basically a nice fancy brick. Now, where the double-edged sword comes in is in the event you do not remember your password, and in case you're going to get a new iPhone and you have to trade this one in, or something occurs where you have to remove Find My iPhone, if you do not know the password, you're essentially kind of in a you're in a sticky place, more or less. Because essentially what Find My iPhone does is it verifies you are the owner of the phone. So if you're able to turn off that feature, then Apple knows that you are the owner of the phone because only you know the password to the email address on the phone itself. If you don't know the password, then you're going to have to possibly provide more information that you are in fact the owner. Now, for the Find My iPhone feature to actually work, you do have to be connected to Wi-Fi or for the data plan to be active. So in the event the thief turns off your phone and it no longer connects to Wi-Fi, then you won't be able to track it. Versus if it gets accidentally connected to a Wi-Fi while the thief is running away with it, you can easily track the last point that it was currently in. Again, double-edged sword. It has its advantages as long as you remember your password, but if you don't remember your password, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. Alright, so the last thing I kind of want to touch base on, I know that you have some more options down here, but they're not really that useful. Of course, mail, you got maybe some different server systems you can probably use, some different more advanced settings. I don't think the regular consumer is going to be too concerned about this, so that's why I'm not touching base on it. The last one is, of course, share my location. I would probably turn this one on, just in case you're texting someone and they're like, hey, send me your location in case your car breaks down, you don't know where you're at. You can send your location this way as long as you have it turned on, and they can actually pinpoint where you're at. Alright, so that's pretty much it. iCloud is just more or less a way to actually sync your information, to do backups on, and just to make things more wireless. Now, for the last thing I want to touch on is that this section here, from mail to wallet, that is syncing. It's not backing up. The difference between syncing and backing up is syncing means that if you log into that email address on another device, that information you have checked on automatically shows up on both devices as well. So in the event you decide you want to delete something on one device, it deletes it off the other as well because they're synced together. Versus backup saves everything you have on your device and it's independent from each other. Alright, but overall, I really hope this video helped you guys out. If it did, feel free to leave any comments below, maybe a like or a dislike if it didn't. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to give me an inbox or leave a comment down below. I'll try to get to you as soon as possible. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for future content I may release, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.